Hey everybody, wanted to do a video tonight in response to a video Metal Complex did on his final five knives out of his collection he'd keep based on 5 different categories: a beater blade, a lower end EDC, a higher end EDC, a classy carry, office carry, special occasion carry, gentleman's, whatever you want to call it, carry, and a safe queen. I had some trouble coming up with just exactly how I wanted to think of these categories, and I'm trying to play his rules as best as I can. So I took some time to think about it and came up with some options. These are not my picks. I'm going to take a quick run through, real quick, of these 5, which I'm considering my runners-up, my honorable mentions in these 5 categories, and hopefully give you a better idea of what I'm basing this on. So my beater runner-up is going to be, oddly enough for me, this crummy cheapo Balisong that I got. Mostly it's just a fidget toy and everything. Tough to do anything under the camera. But what I'm finding is that I tend to grab this fairly often when I want a knife to cut up a piece of fish or chicken or something like that when I'm eating dinner, because I don't really care too much about, the thing getting dirty or dulling the blade by cutting onto a plate or something like that. And that's something that kind of carried through the more I thought about it, is when it's a blade that I just don't care too much about it being particularly sharp, especially on a guy like this where I don't want it busting out my fingers or anything like that if I mess something up. But yeah, this is going to be a runner-up, and I'll show you what I chose in the end. The lower end or budget EDC was a bit trickier because I've got a big gap in my collection between stuff that's like under $20 and I've got stuff that's just over 100 and everything. And typically people go by $100 as being sort of the cutoff for them. But this is the Hogue X1 Microflip. I kind of like it just because it's one that not everyone seems to love, based on the ergonomics and stuff. And it's got some weird things going on, but it is a cool little button lock with a really neat action. I really do like the size, and the Wharncliffe blade is handy. So there were a couple others I could have thrown in here that probably would make more sense. And it really came down to 2. This one was actually tough between 2, but like I said, this one was a little too above that $100 mark based on at least what it retails for, even though I got it secondhand at a good price and could replace it under that mark. But I decided to give it to a different one just based on the fact that these retail for closer to like $130, and it doesn't quite feel right to lump it in as a budget EDC. For the higher end EDC, and for me that's anything when you're approaching like the $200 mark, this guy would be a very strong contender. It's a classic ZT450. It's been around, and between this, the 940, and the Para 2, I would put in kind of a similar-ish kind of category. This would be my pick among those. It's just a great flipper action, and I just love the way it looks. And this one in particular has added, kind of sentimental value, being a gift, having my name on it and everything. And it is great EDC and everything, but my pick for this is just much more solid. But, this is still a great choice regardless. And, I'm proud to carry it, and I do carry it, so there you go. Another difficult one, the higher up we go, the more difficult this got. I'm calling the Pena X Series front flipper Zulu. This is going to be my runner-up for the office carry, classic carry, gents carry, whatever you want to call it. I really do love the modern traditional look and size and everything like that. Rayot construction is just, pretty damn, unimpeachable basically. And this was my favorite blade pattern of the different Pena front flippers. This one I went back and forth on quite a bit as well, because truth be told, if I was picking one to keep in this category, it would be this one over the one I picked for my classy carry category, alliteration there. But one of my other picks was similar enough that if I was stripping the collection down to 5 for these categories, I figured it would kind of take the place of this guy for other reasons. But yeah, Painey Zulu, one of my favorites. Not quite gonna make the cut, because those are really the categories where it's stuff I'm interested in. The Safe Queen, quote unquote category, whatever you want to call it, I hate to really put any of what I own into that category because I don't really feel like there's anything that I'm, just am gonna have sitting around just for the sake of looking at and, trying to keep as a, pristine investment. And, I won't cut a piece of paper with this or anything like that. But I think that the Protect Malibu is close to that, not necessarily for that reason, but it fills that role in a little bit of a way just because it's one that I'm keeping it because I like it as a collector piece, even though I don't necessarily treat it like a collector piece. It doesn't get as much carry as a lot of my other blades, partially for the length of it, sort of the value and stuff. And it's a little, it's still a little aggressive looking to me compared to a lot. People see the button lock and think you got a switchblade or something. The handle's a little slick, so a lot of times I don't want to have it with me if I'm outdoors, and usually if I'm going somewhere indoors, I'm at the store or something, I'm sticking to something under 3 inches. So it's just a slightly awkward kind of overall with the specs, the feel and whatnot. So it just doesn't get carried as much as others, but it's still like one that it's an important knife. I feel like they had such success with this that's getting copied all the time that I'm gonna keep it around even if I don't carry it all that often. So it comes close to being that Safe Queen kind of term that people use, but I've got just one other that I think kind of takes the mantle a bit better. So anyway, we'll get started with the winners now. And the beater category, I've heard described a few different ways as, it could be just a cheap knife that you don't care about, which is the case with that. It could be, basically just a knife that you're willing to do anything with. And the knife that definitely fills that role for me is fixed blade. This is the K-Bar Short fixed blade, 1095 Krovan steel. It's a high carbon steel, extremely tough. I've literally seen videos of people wearing chainmail gloves and stuff, putting this over a beam and just doing chin-ups with it. It's a thick blade. It's a full tang construction, so this part of the blade goes all the way to the hilt. And it's meant to take a beating, and this is one I've whipped out to do things like, bust up ice on my front steps during the winter, or dig a hole in the backyard to plant seeds in the garden or something like that. And those kinds of things that are generally, voiding your warranty and stuff like that. And it doesn't bug me. It's, not a particularly pricey knife or anything like that. And again, similar to the Balisong there, this edge has never been especially sharp. It's never going to be like a great slicer that you're going to want to be, trying to get hair shaving sharp. So I'm not really concerned about, doing stuff that's going to dull it real quick and, therefore force me to have to go back to the bench stone and whatnot. So yeah, this is my beater knife, hard use knife, whatever you want to call it, but it fits the role well. Next up, and again, budget EDC carry, like I said, a little bit different, fudging the rules a little bit. The winner was, I think, $95 when I bought it, and they bumped up the price to $105. Close enough. It's the Para 3 Lightweight. First good knife and everything like that. Currently my only Spyderco other than the Ladybug I keep around. But yeah, this is, there's some sentimentality to it because it's the one that got me into knives essentially after I got it. Obviously it's got the cool compression lock. And it's cool looking to non-knife people, as evidenced, by the fact that I bought this and it got me interested in it just because it's different looking. And it's a Spyderco. It's just it's a relatively recent design, but it's still just a very classic design. And similar-ish to the beater category, but in different ways. I am a little bit less afraid to do work with this as certain other knives, as some of the harder steels and everything, partially just because it's CTS BD1N, which seems to be a little bit easier to sharpen, I find. I'm quite surprised oftentimes how slicey and what a really keen edge I'm able to get on this compared to some of the high carbide steels like 20CVs and M390s and whatnot. And it's got, a slightly thicker blade stock than a lot of the others, so it's got plenty of life in the blade and everything. And yeah, it's a great choice. I carry this. I love having it to, slice up cardboard and stuff like that. And yeah, that'll be my budget-ish EDC choice there. Moving on to the higher-end EDC, and part of the way I think about it is also about difficulty of replacing. Is almost matters to me as much as price point. This is going to be the TRM Neutron for sure. This would easily be my only knife if I had to go down to one, discounting the one that's got my name on it or whatever. If for some reason I had to, I won't bother thinking about it. I really wish I could be one of those guys who could be bitter about just, how tough it is to get these and that they're overhyped and yada, yada, yada. But since I've had it, it's in my pocket most of the time. It's the one that I'll pick up and grab without thinking about it because it's just so simple and so just perfectly designed. All kinds of little tweaks that they did to 1,000 other knives that have been out for many decades, and they just took it, a liner lock, a drop point blade, and they just made some tweaks. They gave it the nice blade stock, they gave it a smooth action, they innovated with the swappable scales. I've got this natural micarta on. Great community support and everything with them as a brand, but it just works so well as a knife. This and the Para 3 would, definitely be the two most ergonomic in my collection. Part of that owing to the nicely done 50-50 choils on both. But yeah, TRM Neutron, absolutely, in some ways I would argue the best knife in the world for me. If there's something out there that's better than this, I have not heard about it. So yeah, 20 CV steel, done heat treated very well according to everything I've read. Absolute, lightsaber kind of edge that comes with plenty of customization. Got these little O-rings that I put on it today. Yeah, TRM Neutron, that's my higher end EDC, absolutely. Moving up one more step, and this is where it definitely was getting difficult. I showed the Pena as my sort of runner-up in the office carry, classy carry, gents carry category, but I'm actually going to give it to, based on these 5, I'm giving it to the Quiet Carry IQ. I got this as an office carry, really, going into work, getting in very extremely unintimidating, classy looking blade, and that's what I got. It's got this modified sheep's foot thing going on. This is the 20CV stonewash finish and everything. But no, it's not pointy, it's not intimidating, it's extremely compact and discreet, both in terms of carry and when you actually have to pull it out to use it. The only exception being the fact that there is no blade protruding above the scale, so there's no way to two-hand it open. Although I found that you can kind of grip it like this to get it started and then just slow roll it. But it's, again, thin blade stock, so very good as a slicer as well. Fun little action, easy to carry, and it's one that just seems classy and modern, and it fits my style and everything. It's one that a lot of people who don't tend to carry knives will, be intrigued by just as an object that's like a fashion thing or something. So yeah, this is a great choice for that, and going to be my pick for that category. Then moving on to the final category with the quote-unquote safe queen, sort of the classier, pricier, the one that you really care about keeping nice. That for me is going to be this guy, the Rayot Tribute. Cranes exclusive. Cranescutlery.com is a Rayot dealer. They do Alliance Designs, Peñas, a few other things. This is their exclusive model that they put out. This is green fat carbon. The clip and the bolsters are both Chad Nichols Mokutai. And the blade is genuine Damasteel. I'm not sure which pattern this is. If you're into collecting knives, you know that those are all very expensive, very fancy words. And yeah, I wanted something bougie as a extremely special occasion carry, let's call it. This is, I put this in this category not because I would never carry it. I put this in this category because I would be hesitant to use it to cut much of anything beyond a piece of paper, pretty much. It's one I want to keep pretty. It's, yeah, it's very nicely done. Maybe a little bit of a collector's piece. I have no idea what, how long they're going to be doing this run of this exclusive dress that they're doing on the Rayot Tribute. But yeah, it's nice. It's got a great action, great blade, cuts well and performs well as far as I can tell it would, even though I haven't put it to much of a test. Still working the action in, still breaking in a bit to smooth out and everything. But yeah, this is kind of the reason I didn't put the Peña up in the other category, because they're both similar sized front flippers, modern, traditional-ish. But yeah, I like this size. I like my, gents folders, and I kind of figured if I was going to go up to, kind of the next level in finished materials and everything, it'd be for something like this. That's just a very bougie kind of office carry, classy kind of whatever, something you whip out and it's going to turn heads, and for the right reasons, not for the, you're going to try to kill me, funny looks reasons. So there you go. Rayot Tribute, front flipper, Cranes Cutlery exclusive. Is the safe queen. Quiet Carry IQ and 20 CV is the office carry. There we go. TRM Neutron 2, I should mention. That's going to be my nice EDC. The Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight for my, care about it slightly less EDC, let's say. And then for doing something stupid or getting work done around the house and in the yard, got the big murdery K-Bar short. So, thank you very much for watching. Curious to see what everybody else's picks are, and thanks for the suggestion, Metal Complex. You have a good one, everybody.